And staying with Purim celebrations in the capital, due to the war, most public celebrations were put on hold this year, but not so in Jerusalem. This year, and for the first time in over 40 years, the city decided to hold a Purim parade. ILTV's Rachel Safdie is at the parade. Rachel, what can you tell us about it?
Hi, Steve. Well, yes, I'm standing here in Jerusalem as we're having the first Purim parade in 42 years. As you've said, these festivities are usually seen in cities like Holon and Tel Aviv, which were canceled this year due to the war, and yet Jerusalem is holding the first parade in 42 years. Now, there were some changes. There was a lot of conversation regarding if this parade should even happen, as we are having a war and we still have 134 hostages in the Gaza Strip right now. And so the mayor of Jerusalem actually met with representatives of the hostage families on Thursday, a few days prior to the parade, and they made some changes so that the parade wouldn't be just a generalized a Purim parade celebrating the Jewish holiday as usual, but would also commemorate the families of the hostages, the families that have lost people in this war, and we do see those changes. Now, there are still protests. There is a protest in the Mamilla Mall, relatively close to where the parade is happening, saying it is still October 7th, and people are still against the fact that Jerusalem is having a parade, and yet we do see different sorts of aspects of the parade celebrating the fact that there are soldiers fighting in this war and that there are still hostages, remembering that there's still hostages there.
And as you said, Rachel, we're in a war and there are people who are still against the parade. So how is the overall experience?
Yes, so it's definitely a unique experience, a different experience from any Purim parade we've ever seen in Israel, especially since it's the first time in so long that it's happening in Jerusalem. What's interesting to note is that while we still see people celebrating and a lot of kids in costume and having fun, we still have a lot of aspects of this parade that do remind us of the war and talk about the hostages that are still there. So we had a man who's a reservist who fought in Gaza and actually lost both of his hands, and he came here to speak in the parade. We also see a lot of the cars that are bringing in huge sculptures and different attractions actually have the yellow band, the hostages band. We also saw the time clock reminding us that the hostages have been in Gaza for 171 days. So even so, we do see people having fun, a lot of kids in costumes. We also see reservists, and we also see people who remind us of the fact that we're still in a war.